My encyclical is Centesimus Annus by Pope John Paul II. Centesimus Annus is a rereading of Rerum Novarum 100 years after it was originally written, and its goal is to show how its teachings are still relevant in today's world. The teachings of the Church are timeless and will always be true. In this encyclical, John Paul II highlights 5 main points: government, the dangers of socialism, capitalism, private property, and human dignity. The first main point is the role of the government, particularly in regards to its duty in our lives. The main purpose of government is to serve the people, and one of the most important ways it can do this is by maintaining peace through good relations with other countries. Centesimus Annus takes a look back at several tragedies that have occurred in the past 100 years that could have been avoided had the teachings of Rerum Novarum been followed. Pope Leo warned against the evils of socialism before it had become very powerful, but his warnings were ignored. The results of this were World War I, World War II, and the Cold War. If humanity is to avoid conflicts like these in the future, we have to listen to the warnings of Rerum Novarum, which John Paul II expanded upon in Centesimus Annus. Centesimus Annus emphasizes the dangers of socialism, specifically because of its lack of all morality. Socialism is an atheistic form of government, which is the reason it is completely without moral standards, as there is no higher power than the government in communism. The communist government views the human person as simply another part of the whole whose purpose in life is to serve the government. A communist government also has complete control over the economy, but government should not be overly involved in the market, other than making sure that the working class are treated fairly. Free market economics is the only successful form of economy. Communism's involvement in the market is the main factor in the poverty of communist countries, as absolute control by government removes all creativity and motivation from the workforce. Capitalism allows for the creation of labor unions to keep employers in check, so that workers can maintain a good standard of living. Capitalism works because it is based on freedom and people working together. Another reason capitalism works is that the workers have the motivation of keeping what they earn. It is a human right to keep what we work for, but we must be careful not to become too attached to our worldly possessions. Jesus tells us, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal." Instead, we should give generously of what we have, as it is our duty as Christians to share the gifts that God has given us with those who are less fortunate. Some people believe that the church advocates capitalism because it is corrupt, and that all capitalism really does is make the rich richer and the poor poorer. The truth is that this is a result of governments not properly ensuring through laws that workers are treated fairly and that the rich are kept accountable. The last main point of Centesimus Annus is the dignity of all humanity. Every person has an inherent dignity from being created by God, and we must respect ourselves and everyone else because of this. This human dignity is the reason why it is our duty, as well as the duty of the government, to give to the poor. Not only is it our responsibility to give them material aid, but also to pray for them and help them get to heaven, just as we would help anyone else. The teachings of Centesimus Annus are just as valid today as they were when Rerum Novarum was first written. It is an update of Rerum Novarum, specifically meant to show why it is applicable to modern life. There are 2 main points to this. Firstly, it is still important that we be aware of the threat of communism. Although the Soviet Union has collapsed and communism has lost much of its former power, impoverished countries are still susceptible to its influence, and we must remain on our guard against it. Secondly, in modern society, where it is possible to travel anywhere on the globe in under 24 hours, and to communicate to people thousands of miles away in mere seconds with the touch of a button, we have no excuse for not being charitable and helping those who need it.